Hi learners, in this video I'm going to talk about an official liquidator, the powers, duties and liabilities of an official liquidator. Liquidator is a person who is appointed to wind up the affairs of a company. Whichever method of winding up is adopted, whether it is compulsory winding up or voluntary winding up or winding up under the supervision of the court, certain people are appointed for the purpose of winding up the company by the court. Such people are called as official liquidator. The official liquidator shall be paid remuneration for their services in winding up of the company, and the remuneration for the official liquidator is decided by the central government. In order to carry out their activities and functions, the official liquidator has been invested with certain powers as per the Companies Act of 1956 and also the Companies Act of 2013. But however, there are certain powers of the liquidator which can be which can be performed by the liquidator only after getting sanction from the court. Now let's look into some of the powers of the liquidator. The liquidator has the power to institute or defend any suit in the court of law in the name of the company. Institute means the liquidator can file a case against a third party on behalf of the company. Similarly, if there is a case filed by a third party on the company, then the liquidator can defend such a case. Next, the liquidator will carry out the business of the company till the closure of the company happens. Generally, liquidation of a company will not happen in a span of a few days. It may take months or sometimes even 2 to 3 years. So during this period, the liquidator has the power to take such decisions which is beneficial for during the course of the company. Next, the liquidator also has the power to sell the immovable property of the company, and whatever sale proceeds are obtained from the immovable property, they can be used in order to clear the liabilities of the company. Further, the liquidator also has the power to appoint advocates, attorneys, or pleaders entitled to appear before the court to assist them in performance of their duties. See, generally, liquidation of a company involves lots of legal formalities. So sometimes, in order to ease their burden, the liquidator can appoint some other lawyers and attorneys in order to assist them in completing the liquidation formalities. Further, the liquidator also has the power to raise the required money or by mortgaging the assets of the company. Like if in order to carry out the business of the company is under a financial crunch and they require extra funds, then in such cases, the liquidator has the power to mortgage the assets of the company. Mortgaging assets means giving the assets of the company as a security for the purpose of raising the loans. So liquidator can also mortgage the assets of the company in order to raise loans. Further, the liquidator can also invite claims from the creditors. Claims from the creditors means the creditors can give an account, though the statement of creditors is already there in the company's accounts as to the amounts which has to be paid by the company to the creditors. But still, if there is a dispute regarding the claims to be paid, then the liquidator can call the creditors and ask to try to settle their claims. Sometimes, if the financial position of the company is very bad or if the company is almost bankrupt, then the company is not in a position to settle the entire claims of the creditors. So, the extent to which the claims of the creditors could be settled has to be decided by the liquidator, and the same has to be intimated to the creditor, and the creditors have to be convinced to take the claims. Like supposing if the company is due to a creditor around an amount of rupees 10 lakhs, but now the company's financial position permits only rupees 6 lakhs or 7 lakhs to be paid, then in such cases the liquidator can has to try to settle the claims of the creditors through negotiation. Further, the liquidator also has the right to inspect the records and returns of the company in order to ascertain the financial position of the company. Further, the liquidator also has the power to draw and accept bills of exchange or other negotiable instruments. Generally, in businesses, sometimes business transactions are conducted on credit, which means sometimes we make sales to the customers, but the customers would pay the business entities after a certain period. In such cases, whenever credit sales are made, bills of exchange are drawn on the customers. So the liquidator has the power to draw and execute bills of exchange. Further, if the task of winding up of the company is too daunting for the liquidator, or if the liquidator feels that they require assistance from some other person, then in such cases the liquidator can obtain professional assistance from any other person in order to discharge their duties. However, apart from that, the liquidator can also appoint an agent to do any business which the company's liquidator is unable to do themselves. So the liquidator can be appointed by the agent can be appointed by the liquidator. Further, in the company, or the liquidator also has the power to do all acts and to execute documents and deeds on behalf of the company, and and the company's liquidator also has the power to do such things as may be necessary for the winding up the affairs of the company and for distributing the assets on a just and equitable manner. Moving on to the duties of a liquidator. The liquidator has the duty to act equitably and in an impartial manner when they are looking after the proceedings regarding the winding up of the company. The liquidator shall conduct the proceedings regarding the winding up of the company and perform such duties in reference to as has been imposed by the court. Next, generally the liquidation of the company will take a couple of period of time, maybe a couple of months or 2 to 3 years. So in this cases, to have a track on the activities of the official liquidator, after the receipt of the statement of affairs of the company, has to make a preliminary report from the date within 6 months from the date of order of winding up of the company. Such a preliminary report has to be submitted to the court. Next, the liquidator should always bear in mind they are actually the custodian of the company's properties, and they cannot use the company's properties for their personal use. So when there is a winding up order, the liquidator shall take into their custody all the property of the company, and deal with the properties in a just manner. And if there is no liquidator, all the properties and the effects of the and all the properties and the assets of the companies are deemed to be in the custody of the court. Then next, the liquidator has the duty to maintain proper books of accounts, and the liquidator should also maintain the minutes of the proceedings at the meetings which are convened in their presence. Further, the liquidator should follow the directions which is given by the court regarding the winding up of the company. Next, the liquidator should also maintain and present a statement of the receipts and payments of the company, okay, during the period of winding up of the company. Further, the liquidator can also appoint a committee of inspection in order to find out ascertain the true financial position of the company, and also if it wants to ascertain whether there was any fraud committed in the company, and who were the people who are responsible for the fraud. So further, the liquidator shall within 14 days after the meeting of the creditors, convene a meeting of the contributories to consider the decision regarding the appointment of the committee of inspection and the people who would be appointed as the committee members of the committee of inspection. Next, the liquidator should also submit a statement of the proceedings and position of liquidation. Now, if the liquidation of the company is taking a couple of months beyond, that is beyond a year, then in such cases the liquidator shall within 2 months after the expiry of the period of 1 year prepare a statement of the proceedings and position of liquidation, and submit the statement to the court. Further, this statement should also be filed with the company law appellate tribunal in case of winding up by the tribunal, or also the copy of this report should be filed with the registrar of companies in case of voluntary winding up of the companies. Having analyzed the duties and powers of the official liquidator, now let's look into the liabilities of an official liquidator. Liabilities means any negligence on the part of the liquidator will result in liability. Liability means the liquidator has to compensate in the event if the company or any of its creditors suffers a loss due to any of the activities of the liquidator. Now, there are certain statutory duties which is imposed by the Companies Act on the official liquidator. Like we just studied about duty to submit preliminary report, duty to maintain books of accounts, duty to appoint committee of inspections. So, if there is a breach of any of these statutory duties, in such cases, the liquidator is liable to compensate for the loss to the creditor or the contributory who has suffered a loss. Next, the liquidator should make sure that when they are using the assets of the companies for paying the liabilities, first the claims of secured creditors should be paid, and if there is any doubtful claim, like if the creditors are telling some amount whereas the amounts which is reflecting in the company's accounts is less, in such cases of doubtful claims, first it should be settled, and they can first it should be an meeting should be organized with the respective creditors with whom there is a dispute, and only after the settlement of the dispute can the claims be paid. And whenever there is a dispute regarding the amount to be paid, the liquidator cannot take any, and if the liquidator is not able to take any proper decision, in such cases they have to wait for directions from the tribunal. Further, whenever the distribution of companies' assets is made, there must be an adequate provision for the liabilities should be made. And if there is no adequate provision for the liabilities for the made, and the liquidator is just distributing the assets in a random manner, and so in such cases also the liquidator will be held liable if the claims of any secured creditors are not paid. So these are some of the powers, duties and liabilities of an official liquidator.